But like I said, going forward for Cleveland, I agree with you. Do those things, you'll be fine.
Definitely get another
Just gotta stay injury free.
David Njoku, solid tight end.
Yes.
Get him another option
Definitely.
out wide.
Maybe a backup running back to help out Chubb, take the load off because obviously
Kareem Hunt.
Well, yeah.
Kareem Hunt had the first rushing and receiving touchdown in a game in the postseason for the Browns.
He did.
I don't know. He dropped it in the comments. I'm not sure,
Oh.
but I know he was the first player in a long time to do it.
All right, moving on to the next game. Now, obviously, we're not going to talk about our team, but we're going to talk about the team that we faced. Let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, Miami Dolphins. Obviously, Kansas City Chiefs won 26-7. Miami, lot to talk about here. Obviously, there was a lot of injuries right off the bat. Let's get this out of the way. Miami had a lot of injuries. I know. They lost a lot of guys on defense. But this also proves to me Dolphins went out and got a lot of guys. A lot of big names, a lot of names, and put them on a roster. So when you looked at them from top to bottom, you're like, that roster just comes to show you that you could go get all these names and put them on a roster does not, it's going to mean it's going to.
Don't mean nothing.
Don't mean nothing. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but we have to have a serious conversation about the Miami Dolphins for this season. This is a team that put up 70 points in a game this year, okay?
On the donkeys.
Okay? They put up 70 points, okay? To me, that game does not mean shit anymore. Like, it does not after the way the season went for the Dolphins. And a lot of y'all are going to come after me for this one, and I know he will agree with me as well. You were 1-6 against winning teams. 1-6.
What's the one team they beat, though? What's the one team they beat?
Cowboys.
How about them boys? Oh,
okay,
boy,
so
that's trash.
This is my problem with the Dolphins.
We
glorified Miami all year for beating teams that were garbage. Garbricio. Okay? Trash. Putting up points on these teams.
Oh, yeah.
Tua, we're talking about Tua as an MVP candidate against trash-ass teams. But it was time to show up against winning teams. Where were the Fins?
Shit.
I couldn't find them.
They were cold.
Again, and again, we're making a little bit of fun here, obviously.
Oh, just a little.
Little bit, Tyreek Hill. Let's talk about Tyreek Hill, a guy that could not keep the Kansas City Chiefs out of his mouth for the last 2 years. When I come back to Arrowhead, I'm going to give you the peace sign. Yes, he got a touchdown in the postseason. He did on an underthrown ball.
That's the only reason why.
Underthrown ball, and obviously, poor tackling by our Chiefs. I'll give you the poor tackling.
Still PI, but he scored.
He scored.
He got his.
But where were you the whole game? Boy, last time I looked, I think you still somewhere in Arrowhead. Snead snuck you in there. I mean, grabbed him, threw him to the ground. I had to rewind the TV because I totally missed the sack.
Yeah.
I was in the chat like, bro, did you see what Snead just did to Tyreek Hill? Like, my God. Again, I reiterate this. We glorified Miami all year. Pretty sure the Kansas City Chiefs had the same record as the Miami Dolphins, did they? We were 11-6. Okay. We got trashed all year. Again, we're going to talk about the Chiefs later in the episode. But again, if you're Miami going forward, what do you do?
Tua their guy? Is Tua their guy? Answer the question. Is Tua their guy? Are you going to revert back to who do you get? Do you bring back? I mean, obviously Tua's still under contract, but is Tua their guy?
I will reiterate this. We do remember that Miami had a different head coach before Mike. What's his name?
Mike McDaniels.
Mike McDaniels had a different head coach before Mike McDaniels, and he did not like Tua at all.
Oh,
he wanted to get rid of
Fitzmagic.
He wanted to get rid of Tua. And what ended up happening to that head coach? He gone.
He gone.
They brought in.
He's a DC now, though, somewhere. Can you remember where
they
he's
brought
at?
in the guy again. Tua had a great year when you look at his stats. He did have a great year. He did throw some deep balls that looked great, but Tua has he has an arm, but he doesn't have an arm at the same time. When you go back and you watch that game against Kansas City Chiefs, I thought he was reaching for the heavens when he was throwing that ball. Now I get it was cold and windy, but my God.
Mahomes has no problems whipping it.
He was like, I'm like, where is the ball going, bro? Like, where? his receiver there, the ball there. I'm like, bro, like, oh my God. Now, I do think Tua is very talented, but I do think Tua needs to put in a lot more practice. A little bit more practice.
I mean, he hit the gym and learned not how to fall, but how to throw the ball with some velocity.
A lot of the Dolphins this year was 5-yard dunk and dinks. You have a lot of speed on that team. Now, we'll give you Miami that. You got a lot of speed. Tyreek Waddle, Rasheed Mostert. You had speed. And shout out to Rasheed Mostert. He had a phenomenal year. You're talking about a dude.
And the rookie running back they got.
Yeah. Don't ask me to say his name.
His name's a little.
But he balled out too, and in the playoffs he showed up a little bit too. But again, I just go. You put all these names on there. Yes, they had injuries. They went out and got Jalen Ramsey, missed a little bit of the year, but Ramsey was there. I don't know what Miami needs to do. I do think Tua is going to be their guy because, again, it's another one of those things. Where do you go? There's not a lot of guys out there. They're not going to go draft another quarterback.
Well, the question is, what do you pay him? Because you have to pay him. What do you pay him? Where's that market fall for you for the Dolphins? You can't make him that top highest paid. That eats up.
Bro, if they make him the top.
Well, you can't put him. Do you put him in the top 5? Top 5 is $50 million. 50 to 55 mil is top 5. But right now,
what is Kirk Cousins making? Is Kirk Cousins up there in money?
Is Kirk Cousins a free agent?
No, like I'm talking about like Kirk Cousins currently. Like to me, I just think he's worth kind of right now anywhere between.
You give him 40, 45?
I don't even know. I'm gonna be real. I don't know. Where you go? They got to pay Waddle. Waddle's due for a contract.
He'll be going into his 4th year.
So So I mean, he's coming.
But he's due.
They have to, again, I'm going to say this. That you got to run a different offense. This screen pass, dunk and dink, 5 yards, rely on Tyreek Hill to blow by everybody. I hate to tell you guys this. This is coming from a guy, Tyreek got me a Super Bowl. He was there when we got our Super Bowl. Okay, I love Tyreek Hill. I always have love for him for the fact that he won a Super Bowl for my Chiefs. When his speed's gone, he's gone. Tyreek Hill's not the greatest route runner out there. He relies on his speed, his cut-in, his quick cut. Yeah. All right? And he's got that. His physical attributes is what's carrying Tyreek Hill right now. His hands aren't carrying him. Tyreek Hill drops balls. We've seen it this year. He had a touchdown.
The Bills.
Okay, so
which would have been huge.
Going forward, I think they have the right coaches in place. Okay? Obviously, head coach, he's fine. Offensive coordinator, fine. Defensive coordinator, fine. You just had injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Injuries are part of the game. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. For you fans out there that complain, we got to play in the cold, you should have won the game. And then you would have been in Miami for a game. I can't help that you lost. You had the opportunity to wrap the division up. You didn't get it done. And then you let the Bills come in there and wax you in Miami. It was in Miami, right? They were in Miami for that game. I don't know where the hell you were. I can't remember off the top of my head. But you lost the game. And you had to come to Arrowhead and you were complaining about the cold. I'm sorry.
Asking for it to be postponed because the Bills game was postponed.
And you thought practicing with the AC on 50 was going to prepare you for the game? What? You are football players. Cold weather is part of football. I played football. I played in cold. Out in Virginia, it's cold. Okay? That's football weather. It is what it is. Mahomes was dealing with the same conditions that Tua was dealing with. Their defense was dealing with the same conditions our defense was dealing with. And we were on the slippier side of the field in the second half. Okay? So I don't want to hear none excuses of the weather or whatever. I can't help the fact of that. That's part of the game.
That's why you win your division for the home game when you're an outdoor team for the weather part. I can't help you. Miami.
And I'm not trying to harp on Dolphins at all, but I'm harping on your fans.
You shouldn't have lost your division to Buffalo. Buffalo struggled for the most of the season, got hot, and you guys struggled against good teams, and you faltered, and you guys had a chance still at the very end of the season to win it.
I will agree.
Playoff teams.
I will agree with Tyreek Hill. The roster you guys have on offense and defense of the ball, you can win. I will give you that. I don't know if you agree with that, but you can win. But you have to show up in games that actually fucking matter. Okay? I apologize for the language because normally I don't do it. But you have to show up at games that matter. You can't go beat up on teams that are garbage and we over-glorify you, but then when it's time to play the primetime game against the dogs and you are a pup.
I can't help you. The Dolphins. To me, the Dolphins want to be the Harlem Globetrotters of football. We're finesse. We're really cute. We can do really good in warm weather. We're really fancy.
You
but
have
to
to
get into a dog fight. You gotta win the trenches. You gotta be that guy, that dude.
I'll tell you this. In that game, when I watched Miami, and again, this is taking all bias as an achievement. This is just from a football perspective. They did not look like they had any aspect of wanting to play in that game at all. They had no intentions on, in my opinion, they didn't show up. And it's not an excuse, but the body language, the way they acted. You came out in the second quarter is when they think they scored a touchdown. You 2 plays, 3, 4 plays, Tyreek in the end zone, and they completely abandoned that after that. Where was that? You didn't even try to feature him. Waddle, nowhere to be found. Offensively, everybody was a completely disappeared. Now, granted, again, talking about this later show, our Kansas City Chiefs, again, I believe they have the second best defense in the league currently. That's just how I felt. He believes they're a top defense. I believe they're number 2. Now, other analytics and shows say that they're not. I believe they are. We've only given up 20 points one time this year. We're the only defense not to give up a 30-piece.
In 16 or 18 games, haven't given up a 30-piece.
So, but going forward, like I said, Dolphins fans, I think the roster had offense defensively. Get those guys back. If you bring those guys back, you can win. You just got to show up in games that actually fucking matter and win those games.
Stop being pretty. Ground and pound that shit. Be nasty.
Tua, put in the work, man. Tua, I think, is a very, very... I'm not going to say Tua is a game manager. I do think...
Tua ain't that guy. He ain't him. He's a game manager.
That's where we differ a little bit.
Game manager.
I think he has the ability. I'll tell you this. He's a game manager right now. I think he has the ability, but you got to put in the work. You have to work on your craft.
Pew pew arm. Game manager. Game manager at best. He's a system guy.
So, it's fair. He's got to put in the work.
All right. Brother watches ESPN Sports Center. The news that came out, Brock Purdy is a game manager. Now, he's been talked about it, and he took that as a compliment. Now, I don't necessarily think it's a compliment. If you guys, would you rather have? Would you have Brock Purdy or Tua? I don't want Brock Purdy in that game. That game's completely different.
Maybe.
With those weapons, he has the exact same kind of weapons with the Niners right now.
There's definitely no excuse to only put up that offense to only put up 7 points in a playoff game. There's no excuse to only put up 7 points with that offense that was doing what they were doing during the season. Rather, you're playing
an offense in the league.
So
you can score 7 points in a playoff game.
So you got to show up again. I just think you just need to show up in winning in the games that actually matter, and you need a different offensive scheme.
Stop being the Cowboys of Miami. Don't be them. Don't be the Cowboys of Miami.
Oh man. So. Again, like you said, you reiterated, is Tua that guy? What do you give him money-wise? Is it Dak Prescott type of money? Is it Kirk Cousins type of money? Where is the middle? Where would you feel comfortable giving Tua? Based off the season he had, obviously the playoff loss.
The current NFL quarterback pay.
What is he getting per year?
He got to be, I'm not sure what the numbers are. He can't be top 5 to me.
20, 22 and a half, 25?
No, that's still that's
too high?
No, that's not high enough. That's not what they get paid anymore. He got to be probably around the 40, 45 mark now. I mean, unfortunately, that's what they're getting paid now. I mean, Joe Burrow, Tua.
I would tell all you quarterbacks out there.
Hurts, Lamar Jackson, they reset the market.
I'm going to tell you guys all this out right now. There's a quarterback that plays for a certain team. Took a discount.
Took a 10-year deal.
Took a discount.
Team flexibility, but I mean,
and has restructured his deal pretty much every.
Some people might consider the GOAT. Some people consider him the GOAT. Tom Brady.
I'm just going to tell you, quarterbacks out there.
The max.
If you want to keep your team together,
has 2 rings.
If you want to keep your team together, you have to be willing to sacrifice. Again, a quarterback I don't really like to talk about for a magnitude of reasons. Tom Brady never really took a big deal. Never really got the money he truly actually deserved for everything that he did. Took the discounts. to keep players around him. And Patrick Mahomes has done that. And these other guys are not really doing it. They're taking the money. They're taking it all. And you're not giving your team flexibility. So at the end of the day, I do not want to hear guys complain. Well, I didn't have, when you're getting paid, all this money that could have went to, Patrick Mahomes took a deal and said, I want to do this deal because I want Chris Jones to get paid. I
turned around and texted his boy.
I left you money on the table for you.
On the table, and they re-signed him.
Travis Kelce, who is arguably the best tight end in the league, has not been paid. Not been paid at all. And what has he said? I want to. There's got to be money to go elsewhere. Give me what you could give me. And what did the Kansas City do? They gave him more money up front this year to put some more money on the back half.
Money around.
So they moved money around. He was cool with that. If you want to win and be competitive, you have to at some point take a deal. Now I get it. You hear guys tell you all the time, and I've said it too. Get your bag, get your money. But if you're wanting to win Super Bowls and championships and you want to hang banners, sometimes you have to take a sacrifice. It's just the way it is. And then try to get your bag later down the road.
Yep.
It is what it is. That's that.
You win the Super Bowl. Plenty of commercials. Plenty of people that'll pay you.
But moving on from that was last week's games. The division round this weekend. We got some games. We got some games that are going to be very interesting. We got Ravens in Houston. Lamar, come collect, baby. Baltimore defense, be ready. Don't be slouching. C.J. Stroud is coming, and C.J. Stroud. Let's not undermine it. C.J. Stroud is definitely going to be in the conversation of a top 5 quarterback going, right?
Yeah, he will be, but he shouldn't be, but he will be. Do it again. Process.
I've always been. You have to do it again.
But currently, it's probably
right now. If you're Baltimore, who has aspirations to be a Super Bowl team, that should be a Super Bowl team this year.
Super Bowl or bust for them guys.
There's no AFC Championship. It is Super Bowl
or bust. Don't take them Texans lightly.
So we have Ravens, and like I said, Ravens in Houston, Texas this weekend. What are your thoughts on that matchup? What are your thoughts for Houston to get the win? I'm not asking you who you think's going to win. What does Houston need to do to win this game?
For the Texans to win this game, to me, they got to play a flawless, no bad penalties, no turnovers, and C.J. Stroud can't look like a rookie. If he flashes looking like he's a rookie, it's a wrap. That defense for the Texans is just stingy enough to keep it close. And for the Texans to win it, they have to play free. They can't play stressful. If C.J. Stroud folds, it's a wrap. If he shows that he's a rookie, you gotta play like a vet. That's the only way it's going to happen.
Okay, for Baltimore to win this game, obviously Lamar, use your legs. That's his golden horse. That's your golden horse. That's the other weapon you have. They rush 4, bring up your legs. You have weapons now, so they have to respect the weapons around you. Zay Flowers, dog. Odell Beckham looking really good, still a dog.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews probably going to be back. That's a dog.
Yeah.
That's a top tight end in the league, probably top 3.
Mark Andrews won't be playing.
He won't be playing. That's unfortunate, but that's tough. Damn.
But they still have Isaiah Likely though, and he's looked hella solid.
You have Dalvin Cook, who they just signed,
and he's been activated.
He's fresh. He's fresh. Key word, he's fresh. Again, Baltimore win this game. Lamar Jackson, you have to have a Lamar Jackson type of game. Use your legs. I'm talking over at least 65 yards rushing with your legs. You need to be throwing that thing. No turnovers. Defensively, like you iterated, C.J. Stroud can't look like a rookie. That defense, make him look like a rookie. Force him into mistakes. That defense is the top defense in the league as well. A lot of people argue that is the best defense in football.
Yep.
So, go in there. Again, for Baltimore, top to bottom, should be no problem on paper. It's night and day on paper.
To me, if the Ravens come, the Ravens last time they had the number 1 seed in the bye week, they got bounced by the Tennessee Titans. they come out looking sluggish. They come out looking like they don't really care, or like, oh, we should be able to take care of these guys. You will lose.
Here's the one.
The Texans are just scary enough, and enough firepower behind them, with enough that they scare any team that they go against.
And here's this too. There's no pressure on C.J. Stroud.
Oh,
he's a rookie. You weren't even supposed to be here.
Lamar even came out and said.
There's no pressure on CJ. There's no pressure on Houston at all. You lose this game 56-0. Kudos to you. You made it to the divisional round. All the pressure is on Lamar Jackson, potentially two-time league MVP. Okay? All the pressure's on Lamar. It ain't on the defense. It ain't on the offense. It's on one man, Lamar Jackson. Okay? I'm throwing up the L's for Lamar. It is all on him. The narrative, everything. All the scrutiny. And I believe Lamar Jackson is a game changer. Lamar is that dude. He is a superstar talent, but it's never translated to the postseason. Phenomenal regular season dude. Just going absolutely nuts. Only lost to one NFC team in his entire NFL career, and that was Daniel Jones, but that's for a whole nother subject. But it all comes down to this right now. This is the best team Lamar Jackson's ever had around him since he's been in the league. You got weapons at the wide receiver position.
Fine.
You have a fresh, non-injured running back in Dalvin Cook, who I believe they're going to use a lot.
Hopefully.
I would assume so. Why would you go,
Hopefully for them.
It's all on Lamar Jackson. All the pressure, everything's on Lamar. And I think Lamar can handle the pressure. He's talked about this, obviously, being disrespected in the draft, that he was a Heisman winner, a guy that won in college, did his thing, and has been criticized. You should be a running back, a wide receiver. You're not a quarterback. You can't throw. He's shown he can throw it. Obviously, he's shown maturity in running, not taking big hits. But again, all the pressure comes down to Lamar in this game. We've obviously talked about the Cowboys losing, the Eagles losing. If Baltimore loses this game, that would be a bigger upset than those two games, in my opinion.
No, I don't think anything would be bigger than the Cowboys losing.
It has to be up there because this team has...
It's a bigger upset, not as a team, but as an individual player, it's a bigger upset.
I guess it more along, if Lamar loses this game, how did you lose the game? Did you go out where you flawless?
The stigma behind Lamar is he can't win the big games. His style of offense can't win the big games. So in the sense of this loss would be bigger than those other two as an individual player, yes, but as a whole, as a team, as a franchise, as a fan base, no. The Cowboys' loss would be bigger, but as Lamar individually, it would be a bigger loss, first round bye, and you lose to a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, no.
I
hear what you're saying. But I just look at it as all the just everything that's around Lamar Jackson now.
It's set up for him to win. You have to buy the number one seed, home field advantage at the playoffs, and going against a rookie quarterback, taking second in the draft. Not number one, but second in the NFL draft.
In Houston, we had when I was doing my lives and stuff on TikTok, talking about it with him outside of this before the podcast and everything, I didn't have Houston here. No, I did not.
They surprised everybody.
They've surprised everybody. C.J. Stroud surprised everybody. He wasn't supposed to be here. Ohio State quarterbacks, what have they ever done in the league?
None.
Nothing. And he's came in here, turnover, touchdown, interception ratio, crazy. He was going to be probably the league leader in passing yards. Obviously, he got hurt, missed 2 or 3 games with a concussion. But that game, I think, is going to be a dogfight. Who do you have winning the Ravens-Houston game? And give me your score.
I have it as an upset. I got the Texans.
Wow!
I got the Texans taking it. Give me the Texans 21-25.
Wow.
Give it a field goal. Give me about a field goal. Give me 3 points.
Damn.
I'll take the 3 points. You
It's
guys
tough.
talking about betting? Give me the 3 points. Give me the points.
Man.
For the Texans. I got the upset. The Ravens last time had the bye week. They came out flat. They lost to the Titans. Give me the upset with C.J. Stroud and the hot Texans. Yeah.
Well, we're going to disagree right off the bat. I love Houston. That what they've been able to do this year has been phenomenal. And what CJ's done is phenomenal. It's unheard of. It's very rare to see guys do this. I have the Baltimore Ravens winning this game. I think it's 35-21. I can't bet against Lamar right now. I just feel like everything's set up for him. and he should win. Again, I will say this, though. I would not be surprised if it's flip-flopped and Houston comes out and wins. I'm going Baltimore. I'm staying with my pick. I'm sticking with Baltimore, 35-21, somewhere in there. I just think it's going to be too much for Houston. But at least we're disagreeing right off the bat. At least we got it out of the way. The next game we got up, we're going to go ahead and do it. We have the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Go Bills.
And this is a storyline that I'm glad is finally over with. Patrick Mahomes is playing his first road playoff game.
Oh my God.
Oh man, like this is a big deal. Why is it I'm not gonna harp on this too long. You can ask me this. I'm gonna ask you this. Why do you think it's such a big deal that people make this a big deal about Patrick Mahomes playing his first playoff game? I don't know if people know this. The Super Bowl is kind of like
and he's been to three Super Bowls.
I don't think they've been in Kansas City. I don't think
I don't think that any home Super Bowls at all, unlike some quarterbacks have had. And I don't think it makes such a big deal. He has just as great as a winning record and stats on the road as he does, at home. They're granted, obviously, they have had such great teams that they haven't.
I can't help that other teams.
I can't help that teams aren't as good, or they falter the teams that have been ahead of us in the playoffs. I can't help that. But the fact that it's such a big deal
storyline,
I don't get it. I mean, he's been to the pinnacle already 3 times. To me personally, I don't get why it's such a big deal to people. It's a big deal just because he hasn't done it yet. But I'm glad his first away game is in Buffalo with Josh Allen, the only actual quarterback that has continuously been a rival to him. I'm glad it's with Buffalo
yeah,
fans.
I have to say that too. I do. I have to agree with you on that. And then another thing I have to ask you too that a lot of people have been bringing up, and I don't really care about my opinion. I want to get yours because I think you're going to have a better. We always hear about regular season. Josh Allen's beating Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. He got a winning record against him. But when it comes to the postseason,
overall they're 3-3.
Are they?
Overall, they're 3-3.
Okay.
They're 3-3. They haven't beat us in the playoffs.
Josh Allen's never been able to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
13 seconds is 13 seconds.
So, I guess for
Grim
me,
Reaper, baby, Grim Reaper.
I saw a thing. I wish I had it with me to pull up. It showed the stats of Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen in the regular season versus the playoffs, and Patrick Mahomes has turned it up a notch in the playoffs.
Yep.
What does Josh Allen got to do to finally get over the hump of beating Patrick Mahomes? I'm going to put you on the spot, taking away your biases of a Chiefs fan. What does Josh Allen finally have to do to get over the hump of beating overall the Kansas City Chiefs, but overall beating Patrick Mahomes?
If the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen is going to take down the Kansas City Chiefs, it will be this year. If you do not take down Kansas City this year with this stud of the defense, with this mediocre-esque, what everybody wants to make the offense out to be for the Chiefs offense, if you don't take them down this year, you will not get them. It'll be harder the following years to ever beat Kansas City in the playoffs and or regular season. You can't forget the regular season, we were toes, a questionable flag on a game-winning touchdown. Who knows how the game would have turned out, but on a big penalty in the regular season, which would have turned the tide, which without that flag, the Buffalo Bills don't have a home game.
Yeah.
Which turns everything around. But for Josh Allen, this is his best chance in the Bills to beat Kansas City. He has to be flawless. Not Superman. Don't be Superman. Be Josh Allen. Run the ball. Make the smart passes. Don't turn the ball over. Don't make the stupid play. And they will come out victorious. He turns that ball over, it's a wrap. Kansas City, I feel like they found their identity. Running the ball, ground and pound. Punt the ball. Kick the field goals. Lean on the defense. Play ugly. Force the turnovers. Don't turn it over. That's Kansas City's play.
I have to ask you this as well. This will be the third time that these two quarterbacks have faced off in the playoffs. Is this a legacy game for Josh Allen?
If he
doesn't win this,
consider a rivalry in the play as a whole,
because everybody considers this the Brady
and
Manning matchup, or however you want to go about it.
Yeah,
is this a legacy game for Josh Allen? You're in your house now. There's no excuse. You're not coming to Kansas City We are going to Buffalo. Like I said, we already iterated. This is Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game.
Absolutely it is. If he does not get it done with the stigma behind our offense, led by a great defense, which to me is a top 3 defense in the league, if they don't get it done now in their home stadium, when will they ever get it done? It is a do or die now. Who knows what the Bills will look like in the offseason? It's do or die. If you don't get it done now, I don't think you can ever put Josh Allen and Mahomes ever in the same category as quarterback, because Josh Allen has the better squad offensively and defensively. He's still bringing in a top 10 defense.
So you said what you said right there. Let's go the other route. Say Patrick Mahomes gets this game done in Buffalo. What does that do to Josh Allen's legacy? Does it end him ever, like he can ever get above Patrick? Obviously.
I don't think I don't think anybody. Mahomes could lose this game, and Josh Allen can go on, and he could win the Super Bowl. It still doesn't put him above Mahomes. Mahomes has 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Josh
3
Allen's,
Super Bowl trips.
And he's been to 3. And Allen, 0. 1 AFC Championship game, and lost to who?
Patrick Mahomes.
There you go. So, no, there's nobody in the category. It's Mahomes, and then everybody else below him. You can put the category how you will, but it doesn't change the fact who the best quarterback in the league is.
I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to do it for everybody out there. We got Buffalo, Kansas City. Give me your predictions of the game. Who you got winning this game?
Well, you got to take the home team in a factor. We're going to be a little cold. You know, we don't want to take the fact. You got to take the home field advantage into a factor. It's going to be a little cold there. Maybe not negative 30 like it was in Arrowhead last weekend. But you got to go with Kansas City and Mahomes. You got to go with a better quarterback and better head coach.
What do you? How close do you see this game being?
Last team that has the ball will win it.
Last team.
I give it.
I have to say the same thing. I'm going my team. Going Kansas City. It's going to be a close game. Every time these two guys go against each other in the postseason, it's been bangers.
13 seconds. I will say, in Buffalo's defense, I love Buffalo. I've always felt like Buffalo is always been kind of like Kansas City in the terms of fans. We're diehards, and the teams were just never been really great. And then just happens we've been just kind of great and good at the same time. It sucks that we're just kind of been the juggernauts clashing heads for the 3rd time out of 4 years. And they are banged up defensively. They have lost some of their secondaries and some of their linebackers.
But you can say the same thing about our offense, too. Tooney's been banged up. Sky Moore, Harmon, no McKinnon.
We're not the juggernauts we were offensively, so it kind of levels out.
And again, I'll tell you this.
I don't know if you know this. I don't want to interrupt you.
No,
but Gabe Davis
is out.
He's out.
So
he does know this. I'm surprised. He knows. He knows stuff.
I did see that.
He's out.
I've been keeping my ears.
He's a chief killer.
I will say this, guys, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me. As Chiefs fans, we've said it all year. If this was the year to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs from the AFC Championship game in Super Bowl, it's this year. It's right now. Let's not forget, last year, what did everybody keep saying? We're in a rebuild year. Took home a Super Bowl, okay?
This year is a rebuild year.
This year really is a rebuild year for our offense, and we're 11-6. We were 11-6 to finish the year. With some of the top teams that were in the league as well.
Yeah.
We were right there with them. But like I said, if there was a year to take us down, it's right now. Josh Allen. It's now or never.
Be that guy.
In my personal opinion.
Be that guy.
Because I look at Buffalo too, you don't have much longer as well. Your team is very old as well. Very old.
Yeah. I mean, where's Von Miller been?
And I real quick before we move off of this subject, I think there's a big important factor for the Buffalo Bills if they want to win this game. And someone who's not really ever showed up against Kansas City Chiefs. Diggs.
Yeah.
And he's going to be guarded by someone that's been disrespected by the National Football League this year. L'Jarius Sneed. Number 1 corner in the league. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Pro Football got him ranked 35. Didn't make no Pro Bowl. No first team All-Pro. No second team All-Pro. Just went against Tyreek Hill, and I don't think Tyreek Hill did fucking nothing outside the 1 touchdown he got.
Yeah, Sneed has allowed against Tyreek Hill.
And Waddle.
1 catch. Combined.
Let's think again. I'm not harping on this either. Sneed has not gave up 100 receiving yard or a touchdown all year.
All year.
It's going to be on Diggs, baby. He gonna be on. And there's, like you said, there's no Gabe Davis. He's a Chiefs killer. We know that. We've watched this dude go absolutely nuts against us. Make me want to get out there and punch my defense in the face.
But how will you Bills fan feel from 2 years ago? When we 13 seconds, we make fun. Went to overtime, we won the toss, went down, scored a touchdown. That's a wrap. The following offseason, you guys petitioned for overtime rules to change in the postseason. It got changed. How you all gonna feel if it goes to overtime? You get ball first, go down, score a tutty. The Chiefs get the ball, go down, score a tutty, and go for two and get it and eliminate you with the rule that you guys wanted, that you guys petitioned to change. That's just, that to me.
Again, we're ready for the smoke too. We ready for the smoke too. Buffalo beats us, like we said. We've already came out and said this was the year to beat us. You beat us. We cool with that either way. Like you said, we've been Buffalo Bills fans. You're kind of like us. You just have not been able to get over us. We sitting at the mountaintop right now. And for years, everyone's been trying to dethrone us.
Yeah.
And if you want to dethrone us, it's right now because...
And personally, if it's you guys...
I'm cool with it. If there was a team to knock us out, it is Buffalo.
I hope you guys get it if you guys do. But I just don't think you can trust Josh Allen enough.
Can Josh Allen not make the mistake?
In the clutch. I think he will try to be Superman, and he will cost you.
All right. So, we've got that up. The next game up is another team that is Super Bowl or bust from the NFC. The 49ers versus the Green Bay Packers. Now, when I really think about this game overall, the 49ers should absolutely dog walk the Green Bay Packers. And that's, again, not disrespecting Green Bay, but when I think about the 49ers, they have a top 10 payroll at damn near every position. Both sides of the ball.
Top 5
okay?
At least, yeah.
Okay?
That's not a quarterback.
Now, I'm gonna make this a little bit hard for you because this is what I've been doing since we've started this. What do the Green Bay Packers have to do to beat the San Francisco 49ers? What do the Packers have to do? Tell me what the Packers have to do to beat a team that is supposed to be in the Super Bowl this year.
Keep Jordan Love clean like they did against the Cowboys. I mean, under pressure, Jordan Love has suffered, but against no pressure, he has looked great. So, put in the exact same game plan that you did against the Cowboys defensively. I mean, it's going to be hard, but you're going to have to slow down. To me, you have to cut off the head of the dragon, which is CMC, and you have to stop the MVP CMC. Like, you have to slow him down.
And he's saying MVP because we both believe that Christian McCaffrey really should be the MVP.
Who else? You can't give it to a quarterback.
To me, I just, like we both...
Can't give it to Lamar. His stats
go compare
great.
his MVP stats to the year he won it in 2019. They're not close. I'm sorry. CMC should be the MVP.
CMC is by far the CMC, and CMC is the MVP and the Offensive Player of the Year. No contest.
But to me, it's hard for me.
To me, that's how to win it. You have to play flawlessly, keep Jordan Love clean, and the defense has to slow down and get pressure or get it pressure on Brock Purdy and slow down CMC.
That's fair. For me, for the 49ers to win this game, it's Christian McCaffrey. He's really the X factor. I know
he's the engine.
He's really the engine. He's everything for this team. Rushing and catching out of the backfield. Obviously, they have other guys on that team. Debo, the other wide receiver.
Brandon Ayuk.
They have George Kittle. Their offensive line. Trent Williams, obviously out there, still doing it at a high level at his age. That really is how you. Their defense, you got Chase Young on one side, Nick Bosa on the other. We're not even talking about the linebackers, the corners. There's
Fred Warner,
again, if the Packers beat the 49ers, it's another one of those games that's up there for me as wow. But
what do you do if you're the Niners if you don't win that game? Man, it's tough.
There's a lot to me of a player pressure is Lamar. As a team, as a whole, all the pressure's on the 49ers. Like I've already iterated. They have a top payroll at every position, damn near, outside their quarterback. They're not even paying Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy poor out here.
Brock Purdy got a team. It has a roommate, a teammate living with him.
Like,
just so he can
potentially,
afford
we
it.
have guys in college making more money than Brock Purdy, okay?
Yeah.
So, like, at some point, like, all the pressure as a team, as an organization, is on the 49ers. You have to get a Super Bowl, baby. You have to.
Super Bowl or bust.
I'm taking the 49ers. I think it should be I'm taking the 49ers. It should be an absolute domination game. I'm saying like 42-17.
I'm taking the Niners as well. I'm not going to give you a point, but I will for the guys that like to bet. I would take the points for the Niners.
Fair enough. And then the next game we have up, a team that's hosting their second consecutive playoff game. They just hosted their first playoff game last week in over 30 years. We have the Detroit Lions against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I do believe this game is going to be crazy. We've already seen ticket prices for this game.
Over $1,000.
Over $1,000. Like, it's crazy. Again, real quick, let's talk about the Buccaneers right off the bat. Again, nobody gave them any love to start the season. I will admit I had given them no love. Baker Mayfield, like, I have to give Baker Mayfield some love.
Absolutely.
Comeback player of the year potentially.
I mean, potentially you could put
Potentially.
it that way, yeah.
They've been doing their thing. It's really been the Bucs have been pretty. I don't really want to say they've been elite, but they've been just good enough to get it done.
Been good enough in a really bad division.
Yeah.
But they did with the Eagles.
They did in dominating fashion, which is also, again, not taking nothing away from the win, Tampa Bay, but they faced a team that, again, was broken, fragile. We don't know what happened to the Eagles. But I'm not taking nothing away, but they whooped them. You're going against Detroit, who's coming off a very, very big high. Okay, a very big high. First playoff home game over 30 years. They got the playoff win. So let's talk about this game. Like, what do you think about this game? I don't even know where to start for this game. Detroit, Bucks. I mean, there's really no pressure on either of these teams because my personal opinion throughout the whole year that I've talked about is I just wanted Detroit to get to the playoffs, win their division, and just win a playoff game. They've completed all those things for me. I don't know what to think next. We've already lost some teams that we thought that were potentially going to be here. The Eagles, the Cowboys, they're gone. So now it's like
they're playing with house money early.
Like, it really is
house money. But I have to start off saying I am tremendously disappointed in the Detroit Lions fans and their fan base and their organization for booing a guy that gave them the best years of his career. 12 years of his career through injuries, through everything. He gave his all. He cannot help the organization and the coaches that they put around him. Players that retired early. Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, Megatron could have potentially been one of the greatest, but retired early because of not winning. The organization.
That man showed up to work every day.
Disappointed that you guys booed him. I understand during the game, but starting in the game, you booed him. That says a lot.
That hurt.
That hurt. That's
and
a lot.
his family, kids, like his entire.
That's a lot. A guy that gave them the best years of his career, really there, and you booed him. That's a little tough.
It was tough.
But in totality in saying that, I do believe that the Lions, nobody has, they're both playing with house money. I never thought the Lions would win. The Bucs coming out of a so-so division. They beat the Eagles, who were, teeter-tottering, broken, but dominated. And the Lions came out of a hard-fought, family kind of game.
Up and down kind of roller coaster.
But the Lions never really beat anybody. They should have beat the Cowboys. But, it's a different story for a different time. But they got the win. And their second playoff game ever. Both players had to me house money. I would have to say, for my pick, I'm going to go ahead and get my pick, is the Lions. Go ahead and take in the Bucs. They are the better, I feel like, overall coach team with probably the better quarterback. For the keys, the only key they got to do defensively, they are stout on the D-line. Secondary and linebacker, they're kind of sus. But I feel like they have the better head coach and the better quarterback. and you have to keep Jared Goff clean. You keep him clean, I think you'll be fine against a very subpar.
I think it's more
Bucs
Jared Goff's got
D-line.
to keep himself clean. Don't try to, again, be Superman.
There
Just
you go.
be yourself, man. Like, I have Detroit winning this game. I'm going to ride with the Cinderella story because that's kind of what Detroit is right now, in my opinion. They're kind of
I
Cinderella
think
story.
it's America's Cinderella story, really.
Like, I think a lot of people, I would assume if you were to see, like, America's pick, I'm pretty sure, like, at least 75% up there in the 70-75% range would be going with Detroit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Again, for Detroit to win this game, Jared Goff, no turnovers, no stupid. St. Brown, be ready. Aiden Hutchinson on that D-line, go to work. That offensive line of the Tampa is fragile as well. You could get to Baker. Force Baker Mayfield to, I guess you could say, look like what everybody thinks Baker Mayfield should look like. I got Detroit winning this game. I don't even know if I can really pick a score because, again, they're both playing with house money. But I think Detroit gets the win. And they'll be going to the NFC Championship game, which is, again, going to be kind of crazy. Detroit, if you win this game, don't burn down your city yet, baby.
Not quite. Not yet.
Wait a little bit, baby.
You're not quite to the pinnacle yet. But I think if you feed the two-headed monster they got coming out of the backfield with Gibbs and Montgomery, I think they'll set up for a very
And again,
long day.
if you're Tampa, to give yourself a shot at this game, Baker Mayfield, use your legs, man. You know Detroit's going to come with some blitzes. They're going to throw some stuff at you. Like he already said, the defense linebackers, a little sus. They're talented, a little sus. Use your legs. Mike Evans. Like that's really what it's going to be. Rashad White, got to run the ball perfectly well. Tampa will have a shot if they do those things. Don't turn the ball over. Protect Baker. Baker uses his legs. They'll have a chance. It's really going to come down to me defensively. Can the Bucs get turnovers? Can they get pressure on Jared Goff to make him make those Jared Goff mistakes that we've seen Jared Goff make in the past? But again, that's what the Bucs got to do to have a chance this game. I'm still taking turnovers. Detroit.
Yep.
So those are the divisional games. I think they're going to be great games. I'm excited for the games. We're that much closer to the Super Bowl. It's getting exciting. Like I'm ready. I'm ready for the games. Moving off the games though, and other subjects around the NFL, we have some head coaches that are on the market. 4 head coaches, in my opinion, that should be serious guys to watch out for. Number 1 being Bill Belichick, out there floating around, going in for a second interview with the Atlanta Falcons. Please don't fumble this if you're Atlanta. Don't fumble it again. Don't blow another thing, man. Another guy out there that we're going to come back to in a minute because I want to get your opinion on. Jim Harbaugh's out there. Been taking coaching jobs or interviews with the Chargers, Falcons.
Also Raiders,
but they hired the kudos to the round of applause to the Raiders. You got it right, baby. It's about time. It only took you, I don't know how fucking long to get it right, but kudos to the Raiders. Another coach out there, I don't know if he's going to be getting a head coaching job, but it's someone to keep your eye on. Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
He's out there. And then last but not least, Dan Quinn. Another guy I think you need to keep your eye on, but I think he's booked. But give me your opinion on these coaches. Let's start with Bill Belichick. Where's Bill Belichick going? Is he going to Atlanta?
I mean, so far that's the only spot we've heard him interviewed for, and he's had 2 interviews. The second one was with the owner of the Falcons. So hopefully they don't fumble the bag that they did with Deshaun Watson or Lamar. Don't mean
real quick,
history, but
I said this on my TikTok. I did a video about it. I said Atlanta should hire Bill Belichick. I agree. Bill Belichick should be Atlanta Falcons.
The defense has a lot of talent.
Bigger question I have, can Bill Belichick instill a Patriot way on the Atlanta Falcons, or is he going to have to evolve? Can he still give them the Patriot way and evolve, or is he got to come with a whole new approach and say, forget the Patriot way and go a different route? What are your thoughts?
I think he has to adapt to the new age player. They're not as hardcore as they were back then. You've even had Patriot players come out and said that we played for Brady, but we were coached for Bill. We were coached by Bill, but played for Brady. So Bill has to come in. Bill is a great defensive mind. He will
Mhm.
lead the Falcons if he's hired by them, which is my pick for him to go there.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's so far as where he's interviewed, I don't think he should. There's other places I think he'd be better landing spots. But if he goes there, I think he will instill a great foundation. But he can't be the quote unquote Patriots way. He has to adapt.
Well, regardless
evolve.
of where he goes.
He has to adapt and evolve no matter where he goes.
He has to
adopt
adapt.
and evolve to the new age
If
player.
he's
to
not
a softer hand.
If he's not going to the Falcons, what is another landing spot? You said you think there's another landing spot out there. What is another landing spot for him potentially?
He could potentially, I wouldn't like to see it, but I could potentially see him going to the Chargers, which would be with great defense, a talent that has underachieved,
And Justin Herbert.
with a quarterback already in place, and Justin Herbert, which the Falcons do not. And another place I could potentially see, which would be kind of a dark horse,
Ooh, I'm curious.
would be the Eagles. I think the Eagles would be if you're trying to win now with a win now team. I think the Eagles would
As a head coach.
As a head coach.
As a head coach. Okay, as a head
You
coach.
go and bring in, because we talked about earlier, bringing in more of a vet voice, more of a sturdy hand. Belichick brings that.
Holding people accountable. Yep, fair enough.
Would put AJ Brown even came out and said that he would play for the Patriots. He would play for Bill Belichick. Would put him in check in his diva's way. Bill Belichick has already handled Randy Moss, who has been quoted as a diva. And I think going to the Eagles would be honestly the most intriguing and the best option for him to win more rings.
That's very interesting.
And get the 15 to 13 wins he needs to be the all-time winning head coach.
Do you think, when we think about Bill Belichick, obviously you have to tie Tom Brady to his name, obviously. We all know that Belichick obviously pushed Tom Brady out the door. That's no secret. Tom Brady went on to Tampa and won without Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is 15 wins away from breaking the all-time winning record. What does Bill Belichick have to do in your mind to get that narrative of Tom Brady? Well, he won without Tom Brady, or Tom Brady won without Belichick.
That's the win one.
Does he have to go? Does he need to?
He doesn't have to win
win the Super.
He has to get there. Get to a Super Bowl.
So no NFC, AFC.
He was with the Browns. No, he can't. He has to be the Super Bowl. He's with the Browns. Didn't win with the Browns. He won, but he didn't get the Super Bowl. Went to the Patriots and was not doing bad. Got obviously Brady was he drafted Brady. Brady was there, developed him, won rings, won chips with him. Wasn't nothing before him with Super Bowls, nothing without him. Brady left and won one. I don't think for Bill's legacy or for Bill to push that narrative that he has to win a Super Bowl, but he definitely has to make it to at least one Super Bowl to kick the narrative that it was Brady, not Bill.
Okay, fair enough. I can agree with that. I'm going to skip over the other coach, Mike Vrabel. We both discussed him that he may not land as a head coach. A lot of coaches out there believe he should be. You think he should go get a defense coordinator? I've heard you talk
Mike
about
Vrabel.
Philadelphia being he's a defensive minded coach.
He would definitely turn that defense.
I obviously thought Mike Vrabel was going to be hired by the Patriots. I thought that would have been a great fit, but obviously,
One different route.
but a different route. Where do you think Mike Vrabel ends up? Like, really, is he going to be a head coach? Is he going to be defense, offensive coordinator? Where do you think he's going to end up?
I mean, kind of like you and I have talked about. Unfortunately for him, I don't think he's going to get a high coaching opportunity. I don't think he.
I haven't even heard him tied to anything.
I haven't heard him tied to anything, but I feel like with the Titans, he didn't ride a great defense by no means. He coaches a great defense. He came from the Bill Belichick tree-esque. He was a player for him, and he is a great defensive mind. But offensively, they were never overly great. Never hired great.
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
He had the Derrick Henry that he literally rode Ryan Tannehill as his quarterback, but never traded away AJ Brown. They never drafted well offensively there. But unfortunately, I don't think this offseason he will get a head coaching job. I can see if he becomes a DC, he'd be a great DC. But I also see him just sitting out 1 year just to try to recharge.
That's fair enough. I'd have to agree with him. I don't know if anything he lands.
If you had to pick a spot for him to land, where do you think he lands?
Ooh, I'd have to say if you're Philadelphia, go grab him. Philadelphia as a defensive coordinator. Now I will say this:
as a head coach, where do you think he goes?
As a head coach, again, they're not going to do it because they've already came out and said they're going to keep him. I thought Chicago would have been a great fit for him. He brings toughness. accountability.
I mean, he
maybe
did try it, but
maybe the Commanders too.
Chargers.
Chargers
Chargers with that defense, that underachieving defense.
He'd actually have a quarterback that actually could throw the ball.
Yeah.
That's very decent.
With the OC.
Again, I'm also going to say this too. I think Mike Vrabel is actually waiting for where Bill Belichick might go and be part of the Bill Belichick coaching staff. Think about, for an example, Bill Belichick goes to the Falcons, head coach. Vrabel comes in with that defense, two great defensive-minded people, phenomenal, and he brings in Josh McDaniels as an offensive coordinator. Go get you a quarterback. Obviously, real quick, off the same subject in a way, Chicago's got the first overall pick. They're trying to go get somebody. I can't remember his name from USC. The old Arizona head coach. They got fired. I can't even think of his name off the top of my head. They want to go get him to bring him to Chicago. It looking like Chicago's going to draft Caleb Williams. If you're Bill Belichick, go get Justin Fields. Give him Josh McDaniels, offensive coordinator.
To correct him, it's the USC head coach.
No, it's not Lincoln Riley. It was the former Arizona head coach.
They interviewed the USC's head coach.
Oh, they did that as well. I see. I didn't know that. So, if that's kind of like the scenario, I see. What I'm saying is, I think Mike Vrabel's waiting to see where Bill Belichick goes. I think he's going to be a part of that staff.
It would be
no, he's going to be on the defense side, not no offensive coordinator. I don't know. He'd be DC. So I think that's where he's waiting for. Real quick before we move on, let's talk Eric Bieniemy. Why is he not tied? Well, why is he not tied to nothing? Like over the last couple of years, we've heard his name being and you're like, man, why isn't he getting? Like, I can generally say now, like, bro, why is he not getting? Like, why is he not getting?
Turn Sam Howell into something. Nobody knew who Sam Howell was which is the quarterback for the Commanders, by the way, that nobody knew about. And he was top 5 in passing yards.
He was up there as number 1 for the longest. I mean,
he was number 1 in the passing yards for the longest
time. And the reason why I have a lot more respect for EB is obviously with my Chiefs. Obviously, I've had some issues. To me, he was the guy that held everybody accountable. He was the glue.
Yeah,
he was the glue, and I'm not afraid to say that. We miss him. I do. I didn't know if we'd miss him this much. We clearly missed him a lot more than I think we thought we did.
No, disagree to agree.
So, I just don't know why he's not attached to the Commanders' head coaching job. Why is he not attached to anybody? Like, what did he do to the National Football League, the owners? What did he do not to get any type of love?
Like, no,
I don't know, and I'm confused.
No,
I don't even know
or anything, but feels like he's being somehow blackballed.
Absolutely,
the players even came out and said that he's a really tough coach.
Think about the Commanders crying. Think about the Commanders crying. And this is what pissed me off even more about Ron Rivera. Eric Bieniemy
didn't even have his
was
telling
these guys in the Commanders how to be championship competitors and win. They were complaining. And Ron Rivera, like you said, did not have his back. So what are we building over there? Losers? Like EB come from Kansas City. 2 Super Bowl rings. 3 trips with us. 2 Super Bowl rings. The man knows how to win. Had Patrick Mahomes. Knows what you have to do. He's seen the greatness. Knows what you got to do. And to go in there to the Commanders and be like, hey, man, you're not working hard enough. And then the player, me being mean to me. And then your head coach, well, we don't need to be that. Like, what? Are you serious?
Yeah.
And you want to know why the Commanders are a laughingstock.
Yep.
I have to give Eric Bieniemy some love. Like, he needs to be attached to the Falcons, the Seahawks. I mean, hell, like, you got to be attached to the Bears, somebody, the Commanders, Chargers.
If I was an owner, I am calling Eric Bieniemy. Obviously, we are Chiefs fans, but if he would have been the person that would, in years' times to replace our head coach, I would definitely have been on board with that. But he has made somebody mad in the NFL.
I had to bring that up.
He is the Wayne Rooney Rule. He was always the guy that just got brought in just to make it happy, so I can hire this guy. And he's not even getting that anymore.
Like, I just think of like some of the coaches that we've talked about. Like, I get why he's not over Bill Belichick. Mike
Right.
Vrabel. I get Mike Vrabel
But
was there
Mike,
6
we haven't
years
heard
for.
anything about Mike Vrabel.
Like we
haven't
haven't.
heard anything about EB.
And then we got, Dan Quinn. Obviously was the former Atlanta Falcons head coach. How that fell apart over there in Atlanta. He's now the defensive coordinator up in Dallas. We both believe that he's
Going
connected to Seattle. I think he's going to Seattle to be their next head coach. It fits how they play. Obviously taking over the realms after the Pete
Carroll era.
Pete Carroll era and whatnot. But I just think
It's
when-
tough. I think he
it's
deserves
tough.
a shot somewhere, anywhere. Titans, call him out.
Like somebody, like
give him
he's
a
an
shot.
offensive mind. Clearly, I mean, he took Sam Howell and made him a top guy in the league in passing yards, and
I mean, everybody took in everybody else. The Eagles and the Bears took both our OCs.
hell, if I'm the Eagles, I mean, if you're not gonna give him head coach Eric Bieniemy with Jalen Hurts in that offense, oh fuck, I'd be a little
Ravens'
scared.
advisor. I mean, the dude deserves.
He
the head
deserves
coach opportunity. A lot of love for him. I mean, it's.
I just hope he gets a job. I
There's
really
opportunity
do
somewhere.
But the coach, outside of that coach, the coach I really want to talk to that's made me really change my opinion about him over these last few days is Jim Harbaugh. If anybody doesn't know, Jim Harbaugh won the national championship with the Michigan Wolverines this year. Obviously, there were some scandals that took place. He was suspended for a COVID violation, and then there was the sign stealing, which a lot of us believe that he was not a part of. There was a road coach who was obviously crazy, wrote a bigger awfully of how he was going to do this all and everything, was going to games, dressing up as people, sign stealing, whatever. Obviously, a lot of people felt that Michigan should not have been a part of the college football playoffs. They obviously were. They went on to beat Alabama, and they went on to beat Washington in the national championship game. Jim Harbaugh has been linked to moving on from Michigan to go to the National Football League. One of the jobs he's been really linked to is the LA Chargers. He's done an interview there. Obviously, Michigan did offer him a contract, a 10-year, $100 million contract, but there was a clause in that contract that said that he could not skip and go to the NFL in those 10 years. He had to complete the 10 years. Then it also been lately reported that Jim Harbaugh wanted a different type of contract. And I'm going to go ahead and let you, because you were a little bit more inside of that, and you told me about it, and it made me change my view. So you go ahead and tell.
So, Jim Harbaugh, he is part of the scandals, and in the NCAA eyes, the head coach is liable for anything that happens under his watch, no matter if he knew about it or not. They expect the head coach to know about it. So the sign stealing, whether or not he knew about it or not, still his fault. Shouldn't have allowed it to happen. And he is now coming out and stating, reportedly, that he wants, in his contract, now the Michigan came out and has offered him the it makes it the highest paid contract, or highest paid head coach in college NFL history and currently. And he doesn't want to be able to be fired because of any allegations. He doesn't want to be able to suspended or lost the pay by any allegations, and the current AD for them would not be able to fire him or have any repercussions or loss of pay or miss games because of any allegations that will fall down from Spygate or anything else we don't know about. It has to be something more behind the curtain we don't know about, that he's this worried about being fired, being suspended, or a loss of pay from Michigan, that he's wanting to put these clauses in there.
Obviously, like, I didn't know about that. He sent me to that and asked me my thoughts about that, and it made me really change my view on it, because I didn't believe Harbaugh had anything to do with the science, because that coach was super crazy. He really was. Like, let's keep it a buck. But then when you come out and you put those specific things in your contract and you hand that to Michigan and tell them this is what I want, does that not tell me you got some guilt somewhere?
Speaks of
a little bit of guilt, like the AD for the school can't fire me, fire you at all, like, bro, like it kind of just changed my view just a little bit on Jim Harbaugh. Like,
kind of speaks that you guilty
in some ways,
what Michigan does. He's jumping to the NFL anyways, just kind of like Pete Carroll did with USC scandals. He went to Seattle and avoided all
but
the
if you're
allegations
Michigan,
there.
though, and he hits you back with that counter. Obviously, they already, like we said, gave him a contract. He didn't take it, or, whatever. He obviously...
Negotiations.
If you're Michigan, what is your honest thoughts, like, if you're Michigan, like, we have to go into Michigan's mind, and you look at that, like, would you even entertain that at all?
I would personally, as a human being, I'd be like, so you're telling me that you're guilty of what everybody is saying, that you actually knew about this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be worried about it because he's already been suspended twice. To me, I think Jim Harbaugh, if I'm Michigan, I wipe my hands clean and try to go find my next head coach. But I think Jim Harbaugh personally is going to jump in the NFL.
We both believe it's the Chargers.
I think it's going to be the Chargers.
I believe.
And
I'd be shocked if it's
just
not.
a little bit dig at him. You can't drill the big boy table, my guy. You did not win a clean chip. And we'll see what happens with that. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. I don't like seeing stuff being stripped from organizations or universities or players or head coaches or coaches in general.
Because as players, I would assume you had nothing to do with that. Obviously, you go out
benefited
from it. So
it sucks, but me personally, as of right now,
again, I'm not trying to.
He can be at the big table with his brother or his dad. You haven't won Indy chip in either one, and you lost to your big bro or I don't know if he's his big older brother, but he lost to his brother in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's really changed my view on Jim Harbaugh in the college.
If you're guilty, just say you're guilty.
Like,
if you're guilty, just say you're guilty.
I think he's going to the NFL.
Don't plead the fifth, just say you're guilty.
Pretty much. So, but those are some coaches to watch out for. Going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Obviously, I don't think any big name. I don't know when these guys are going to come out and announce where they're going. I think it'll be sometime after the Super Bowl, maybe before the Super Bowl. Patriots obviously didn't waste no goddamn time. They literally Bill Belichick out the door. New coach walked right in the door. Like it was bam. But another interesting thing to talk about that's had people in their frenzies last week. Obviously, the Chiefs-Dolphins game was on Peacock streaming. What are your thoughts on streaming taking over the sports world, TV? I've always said for the last couple of years, I think cable is going to be pretty much obsolete here in the next couple of years, just the way streaming's going. People are upset about it. And I will say this before I let you. I understand why people are upset about it. Because not everybody's up to technology. I'll be the first. This new technology is not my thing. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Doing the TikTok thing, doing the podcast, new to me. I'm just doing this because I like to talk about sports. I love sports. But I'm not a technology guy. Now, that has really nothing to do with that. But it's a lot of these older people, they're not up to date with the new technology, the streaming, having to pay.
Yeah.
They're, a lot of people don't have that type of money. We're on fixed incomes, especially for the older people. I understand where a lot of people are coming from for that aspect, but do you think this is a good move or a bad move for sports in general? I'm talking across sports with streaming.
I know. There was something that broke today that Amazon has, I think, all rights in baseball to the Royals.
I did remember you saying that.
But I don't necessarily think. Streaming is great because it definitely is a monopoly on it, where you want to watch it, you can't watch it unless you have that streaming device. Puts anything into perspective. That game, the Chiefs and Dolphins game, should have been a very high viewed game, and it was the lowest viewed, watched game out of all the wild card games. They were the lowest. It was, I think, came in around 23 to 26 million. And that game easily on an open network.
It was almost
should have been
sad.
In the mid-30s.
It was sad, but I was also very grateful that our team.
I was one of them that had to buy a Peacock subscription for a month because I'm not canceling it. I don't want Peacock. I had to buy to watch my Chiefs, and I live in Kansas. I had to watch my Chiefs. I had to buy Peacock. I had to buy a $6.99 month subscription just to watch my Chiefs play in the wild card round because they wanted to stream it solely on their network.
And like you said, he had to buy it. And a lot of people, I've seen other content creators talk about, you only have to buy the subscription, then you can cancel it and you have it for a month. It's not the fact you still had to buy it. There are some people that are already paid, and we live in Kansas. We live in Kansas, guys. Like we're from here. It's our team. That's why. Piggyback on, I was very happy. I was sad and happy at the same time that our team, Kansas City players, were out there giving out Peacock subscription to certain fans so they could watch the game. That's sad. I'm happy because our players took the initiative to help the fans be able to watch their team play, but it's also sad.
So that the players had to go out and do that, But in the same aspect,
But what pisses me off too is a lot of people are bitching. It's only $6, guys. $6 is still a lot of. It's people come out and say $6. It's $6.99.
That's still happening for McDonald's.
Like a lot of people can't afford that.
That's why it was the lowest viewed game of all of them. But to be fair, it was the most streamed game, or whatever you want to call it. It was the most streamed, most watched game in streaming history.
Yeah,
and that's, obviously
again, streaming's taking over. It's something that is, obviously has been coming up a lot more and more. It's getting bigger, more platforms, more things showing up. But
people that pay for, NFL subscriptions, pay for Red Zone, ESPN Plus, you expect people to watch all the games, and then they
hit you with,
here's the playoffs, and by the way, buy this subscription too, so you can watch the playoff game.
It's just more money,
a big middle finger to the consumer.
Pretty much, but
and I'm not a fan.
No, I'm not a fan
At
either,
all.
but it's unfortunate it's the direction that we're going in, and I just feel bad for all the fans out there for whatever sport it is, because you might be in a situation where you might not be able to watch your team play, and that's unfortunate because sports bring everybody together. People like watching sport. It's a time to sit down with your buddies, have a drink or two, watch a game with your family, friends, and that's kind of being taken away in an aspect. So, But we thank you guys for tuning in on J&B Undisputed. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later.